That is San Diego's band, the Shenanigans, with our own JM and the PM on the FM. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim McInnes.
Hi, Gary.
This is your life. How are you, buddy?
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on your station.
Oh, well, thank you. That was Champion of Love. Good song.
Yeah, that's Champion of Love. If we had put out a record, that would have been the single. It was written by our bass player, lead vocalist, John Gunderson, and dedicated and about he and his wife, Betty. John writes the bulk of our original material, and a lot of it involves his wife because he knows how to keep her happy. And he writes some pretty cool too.
Do covers?
Oh yeah, we do a bunch of covers. We do our covers that we do are so obscure that people think they're our own songs. You know, we'll take the B side of a Yardbirds single, or some jump blues from the 1930s and 1940s, and shenaniganize them as only we.
I like that.
Yes,
Let's talk about the band. Who's in the band?
All right. Well, it's a 9-man band. I'm in the band. I play guitar and I do most of the talking between songs, as you can imagine. I also do some vocals. And the lead singer is John Gunderson, who plays bass. The lead guitarist is Mark DeSerbo, who a lot of some local music fans will remember from the band Rockola. He also had a great band called Four Eyes before that. And on the third guitar, the rhythm guitar, Tom Mexto, the guy I worked at CBS Radio with, and it's Tom's first band, and he's thrilled. He's just enjoying every minute of it, and he's a really good rhythm player. Our drummer's Jack Pinney, San Diego Music Award Lifetime Award winner. Jack cut his teeth with, among other bands, Iron Butterfly in their original state in 1966. And he played with Jerry Rainey and the Shames and the Glory Band, who were the top rock band in San Diego in the early 1970s through to about 1982 or so.
You're Ringo's all-star band, aren't you?
Well, kind of, yeah, sort of. Bart Mendoza, the writer, called us an all-star band, which was very flattering. Yeah. See, where was I? I was up to the drummer, 3 guitars, bass, drums, keyboards, Mark Bentley, who's with several other bands as well. He plays organ and piano and harmonica and does some vocals. Then we have a 3-man horn section. Joe Dyke, otherwise known as Sweet Lips Mysterioso, plays the trumpet. He used to be in Buddy Blues Band. And then saxophonist Chris Click is another San Diego Music Award winner who's been in and is in 10 bands right now. He's been in many other bands, including Sue Palmer or Motel Swing Orchestra. And our trombone player is formerly John Gunderson's former doctor, Paul Cater, who retired as a doctor and now plays trombone with the Shenanigans. I think I've covered all 9 of us there. But anyway.
That's a big band.
It's the biggest one in San Diego that I've encountered anyway. We have, like I say, 3 guitars where only one is needed, for instance. So
yeah, no. And I love the energy of your band. I've never seen you. I'm coming to Humphrey's to see you this Friday night. Tell us about that very special show.
Yeah, we're playing this Friday night, March the 8th at Humphrey's Backstage Live, which is right next to Humphrey's Concert by the Bay, the indoor spot. We're going to play 5 to 7 o'clock, the happy hour show on Friday. Always a lot of fun. We played it last year and had a full house, so we're hoping for the same thing this time around. $5 cover, in case you're wondering, folks.
Oh.
And parking should be free, but it is limited, so get there early.
Fantastic.
Then on the 16th, Saturday the 16th of March, we will be out at the Aquarius Bar and Grill, playing an outdoor show there from noon until 3 on that Saturday. Then the next day, the 17th, is St. Patrick's Day, and we'll be playing that evening from 7 to 9:30 at Navajo Live out there in the East County.
And that's a late performance, right?
Yeah, we have 3 gigs coming up between now and the 17th of March. But after that, our dance card's completely clean. So if anyone wants to offer a gig to us, let Gary know or let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Glad to oblige. We've been out with Shenanigans now in its 10th year of playing out and about San Diego.
That's cool. In 1976, you were on KGB before that, but a mutual friend of ours, Danny Wild and myself, we had a dream radio team. I was only 20 working at B100. and Danny
I
was doing
remember.
afternoons against you on KGB. We had a dream team that we'd talk about all the time. And I've never had the chance to tell you this, but you were the star of that dream team. We
Oh,
always wanted to have you.
oh, shucks.
This is back in the days when you used to do the weather with Celsius. Remember that?
I don't. I just do.
No, it's a really cool thing. Currently, it's 23 Celsius and 74 KG. And we started doing it on B100. And you know what? We got in trouble.
Oh, really?
So
What's
tell
this
me
Celsius
how
crap?
did you get into this business? I know you won a contest in high school, right?
Well, it wasn't a contest. I auditioned in high school to do the morning announcements. My high
Oh,
school was 2,000 plus students in Northern Illinois. We're in a Chicago suburb called Arlington Heights. And so I, along with a guy named Bob Johnston, won the auditions, and we did the morning announcements for our entire senior year. Every day, all the homerooms, all the kids were in the homerooms. And the first thing after the Pledge of Allegiance was we'd come on with the morning announcements. Usually totally straight face, you know, intramural scores and football scores and news of classrooms and stuff. But once in a while, we'd go off the rails and hear it from the principal. But that was the start. And Bob went into radio, and so did I. Bob, by the way, went from high school over to CBS Radio in Chicago at WBBM, and I went from Arlington High School to Southern Illinois University, where I got a degree in communications in radio and TV. And in 1970, got a job. My first commercial radio job was in Wisconsin at Radio Free Madison, which was a free-form radio station. You'd come in, they'd say, come in, Jim, here's the record, key to the record library. You're on the air for the next 8 hours. Go do a show. There's no format, nothing.
wow.
And that's the best way to learn how to do radio. And 3 years later, I was in San Diego on vacation and dropped the tape off at the old KPRI 106.5. They called me back as soon as I got home, and then I turned around, came back to California, and I've been here ever since. I've been on San Diego radio for over 50 years now.
Wow.
And look at me, I'm only 57 years old.
I know. You know, you have the coolest profession ever. You're a rock icon.
Guess so.
That's incredible.
I just loved every minute of it, Gary. You know, if you love what you do, you haven't worked a day in your life.
And I've heard that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Tell us about all your years. Was it 28 years at KGB?
Yeah, the first time around, I did afternoons or middays. I think I did about 14 years of each between 1974 and 2002. And then 2002 is when the giant corporation came in and bought every radio station in San Diego, excuse me, and brought in some of their own people and fired some of us, like me, after almost 29 years of 6 days a week on the air. Then I rejoined KGB 14 years later just to do weekends for a few years. And I got fired in 2020 when the giant corporation fired 1,000 of their air talents across the country and replaced them with AI, probably. Yeah, so long. Humanity in radio is pretty quickly disappearing.
To anybody that's watching or listening, when you say fired, they think, oh gosh, what did he do wrong? That's more or less a badge of honor and just part of the industry in broadcasting.
Yeah, I took it pretty hard at first until other people reminded me that, well, the old saying, you haven't really worked in radio until you've been fired, because there's no job security,
Right.
Here I was thinking, well, I've been here so long, I'll just retire and have this long stretch of time with one radio station. Well, I think 28 and a half years continuously is a pretty good run.
Really good. You're like the Tony Gwynn of the Padres.
So, yeah, I wish.
Yeah, but no, as far as longevity and a name in town.
Yeah.
And you're set, you know what? I remember meeting you as a kid. You were a kid.
Still am.
You were really kind to me then, and you're just as kind today.
Thanks, Gary. You too.
I think people will always remember about you.
Well, you're another person who loves radio. So,
well,
we all stick together,
It's an addiction. Tell me about one of your best radio memories.
Gosh.
Think of one. One that you can talk about.
Yeah, that's the problem. A
It's
lot of
okay. Have some fun.
them involve chemistry, if you know what I mean.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a thrill to. I've always been a Bob Seger fan, and it was a thrill to meet Bob Seger one-on-one backstage before he opened for Black Sabbath at the Sports Arena in 1977, I think it was. And Bob was complaining about being really tired, and he'd been on the road and he was just burned out. And he said, "Man, I'm so tired." And I said, "Well, I think I have a way to help you wake up there, Bob." So me and my friend who was with me, we said, "Yeah, here, Bob." And Bob was with his sax player, alto Reed. Tom Cartmel is his real name. Said, "We can fix you and Tom up real good here. Just follow us over here into this corner." And then 5 minutes later, Bob's on stage going, "Yeah, whoa, yeah, let's go." And they kicked ass on Black Sabbath. And I'm a Sabbath fan, and they were really good. But Bob Seger was just on fire that night. And then
Yeah.
after the show, he came back and found us, and it was all backslapping time. "I thank you,
Oh,
Jim.
what a
Thanks,
great
thanks. Yeah, yeah."
memory.
That was
So,
a big
yeah,
thrill for me.
you,
And I've met every pretty much every rock star except for the Beatles, in person, and interviewed them either on the phone or in person. So
it's one of the special fun things about being in broadcasting is the people that you have met and the people you got to introduce on stage.
sure, it was a thrill to go out and introduce Rush in front of 12,000 people, you
Wow.
know, and the like. There's so many I could just talk all night about that, but I'm not
Do you have a
gonna.
worst radio memory?
Probably getting fired for the first time,
What year would that have been?
2002.
That
And
was
the guy who fired me was an a-hole. His reputation follows him to this day. So I won't name names, but
no, it's okay. This is a positive show.
that's right.
Let's get into the homegrown series. You were the guy that put the whole thing together.
No, not really. The homegrown
That's okay. I'm
started.
going to give you credit on this show.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I did. I was involved in most of the albums. The first homegrown album came out before I joined KGB, but all the ones after that, I had a hand in picking the music and co-producing
Is
records.
that Rick Liebert?
Rick Liebert was the PD, yeah,
Okay.
at KGB at the time.
Okay.
And there was a bunch of us that would pick the owner of the station, Mike Brown, was actually part of the process of picking the songs for homegrown. You
That
won't
had
find
to be
that
fun.
nowadays. Yeah, the owner was a personal friend of mine. He'd
Yeah.
come to the station. "Hey, Jim, how you doing? Hey, Mike, how you doing?" Now I don't even know who these corporate dudes are. I don't care anymore
When
because
you
I'm
started homegrown, or it had already been going for a year when you got there, did you have any idea that it would be as popular and it would have the longevity that it had?
sure. Yeah, that the first one we did when I got there sold 61,000 copies, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Of course, the price of the records was $1 each, which is a good impetus to go buy them. We had them for sale at 7-Eleven checkout counters and stuff, just impulse items. So
Yeah.
most of them sold in that range, 50, 60,000 records, up until the last one. Homegrown 84 was a stiff, as they say in the music business, selling only 10 or 11,000 copies. But that was where we changed the format, where songs didn't have to be about San Diego. They could just be, it was like a talent contest more than
Right.
anything.
Right.
That one, that was the death knell of the homegrown album. But it
Before
was fun.
I let you go today, and you'll come back and we can do some more of these, all right?
Sure.
This is not a one-off thing. I'm going to leave you with two songs by the Shenanigans, who are playing at Humphrey's this Friday, 5
Yep.
to 7. I'm going to leave you with Thin Man and Champagne King.
Oh yeah, Champagne King. You'll like that one
Yeah,
too.
I listened
Thin
to it.
Man's pretty catchy too.
I
Yeah.
feel like when I'm listening to your music, since I have never seen you before, it's kind of like the Blues Brothers. It's this upbeat jazz with the
Right.
horns. I mean, it's like nobody like you.
Well, yeah, I agree, Gary. Yeah.
It's fun. Okay, I got to leave one last question,
All right.
and this is kind of putting you on the spot.
Eh.
What is one of your truly best memories in life?
In life?
Yeah, in life, excluding radio.
Well, meeting my wife and marrying Sandy. We've been married for 40 years. And again, that longevity thing. It's yeah, that made my life right there. I can't imagine where I'd be without her.
I can't think of a better answer. Thank you, Jim McInnes.
Thank you, Gary Kelley.
You know, I grew up the whole time. I thought your name was Jim McInnes. Well, that's how you say it. But your wife corrected me that it's Jim McInnes.
Yes,
which sounds like Jim McInnes.
Scottish. Everybody does the Irish pronunciation, McGuinness.
Well, I do now.
Yeah, but it's McInnes. There's actually an invisible K in there somewhere. McInnes.
You, my boy. And
I'm a mix.
And we'll see you at Navajo on St. Patty's Day.
Aye, lad.
We're going to leave you with a couple by your group, the Shenanigans. Great hanging out with you.
You too, Gary. Cheers.
God bless you, buddy. I love you.